Yo, what's good, everybody? Joey J. Ping here, checking in live, respectmyregion.com. Back again on another episode of the Respect My Region podcast. We are on the 133rd official episode, folks, and today we have a very special guest. Blake Benton is the CEO and founder of Trap House Connection. He's also involved in another new project that includes that business, which we'll touch on a little bit today as well. And today, folks, we're going to be talking about his company's product creation, development, his story, all these good things. And so, welcome, Blake. How are you rocking today, bro? How you feeling?
Not too bad, man. Not enough time in the day, too much work.
Yeah, I feel you, man. You've been over there building the Trap House Connection, aka THC. You've been building that empire steadily, consistently for a number of years now. We're
Yeah,
getting a
probably.
little bit older, but when we first started in this rec weed game up there in Washington, we were both some of the young guys. And now,
Right.
not to say you're not still the young guy, but you have years of experience under your belt now, and you've done hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in sales, right?
Right.
So it's been quite a wild ride, and I'm excited to explore that journey with you and get to know you as well and the business.
Yeah, it's been great, man. It's really been great. Honestly, I started, when I came out here, I moved from Florida back in 2017, and it
Mm-hmm.
was, I think, probably like 10 days after I turned 21, I moved out here. And I ended up driving out here with my brother's dog, and I ended up getting a job at a pot shop as security. And shout out to High Society North Everett. They are dope.
Let's go.
But yeah. So I got a job there as security, but I worked my way up to purchasing manager of that spot within like 8 months.
Wow, that's
Um,
impressive, man. That's a pretty fast track to some true leadership and power position.
well, I was already like so enthralled with cannabis when I was down in Florida, like, you know, doing stuff down there. And I came up here and thought I was gonna just learn so much stuff and just so much about the industry. But like I've quickly realized I already had a base knowledge that exceeded a lot of people just coming into the industry.
I believe it.
So,
I believe it.
so it allowed me to really excel very quickly, and like I started, building those relationships with different farms, doing the buying job, uh, and a lot of these people were like, "Hey, you should hop into sales. You should hop into sales," and I was like, "All right, I'll take my shot at it." Ended up selling 30 different cannabis brands shortly after that in
Wow.
Washington State and doing, like you said, millions and millions of dollars in sales. But man, it was a headache. So now I
That's
started my own thing.
I love that. And so it's like, you get to the point where you get all this experience helping other people build their dreams. And then it's like, okay, I'm like, not to say you get burnt out, but you're like, man, I'm done. I want to channel this into my own thing. Right.
Right.
What was that
Right.
creative process for you like when like that maybe like that time period when you were like, okay, cool, like I know I want to do my own thing. How did you end up landing or what was the process like for Trap House Connection to be brought to life?
Um, that really the idea came from I just found out I was gonna have my first son,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, man, I really need to get out of this. I need to start building something. Um, well, no, that was after I had my first son. I was about to have my second kid, my daughter, because I got 3 kids now with one on the way. And so uh I just wanted more time with my family. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like I just really wanted to get more time with them and be able to have something flexible. Sales would allow me to achieve that. But when I was doing 30 different brands, it
Yeah,
just I had to talk to 30 different farms. I had to talk
that's
to
a
30
lot.
different owners. And on top of, a lot of these orders are very small in size when you're dealing with a lot of different brands that don't have the capacity to do very large orders. And so that just takes up so much more time. So I'm like, okay, what can I do to build all of this and put it under one license? So I ended up partnering with a good friend of mine, Vadim at Green 420 EV Enterprises. And I brought all my brands over there and we started doing, multiple brands, not just Trap House, but now we have 8 brands. Trap
Wow.
House Connection, Medusa Gardens, Boom City Cannabis, Just Cannabis Company,
Hmm.
Cartello Cannabis. All of those are
These are all
brands.
different companies and that are now under this umbrella. Not necessarily like a record deal, but you're able to help support their sales and get the distribution a little bit more efficient potentially and things like that.
Well, these are all brands that I've created. These are all
Oh, okay. So
brands
they're not
that
individual groups. These are all just brands that you guys create.
100%.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
So we
Cool.
created a ton of different brands under this one roof, right? And now
Mhm.
we can offer a menu to these retailers with 8 different brands and 40 different product SKUs that they can all order under one single license under one minimum order size, right? So it's really opened up buyers to be able to order variety with very little commitment to any one product
Yeah.
brand.
Well, talk a little bit about Washington's buying style, and because I feel like your decision to do that route is a reflection of, you said at the minimum order buying stuff, right? And
Right.
like there's a culture in every state. There's unique culture in every state based on price point, buyers, the topics, supply and demand, all these different things, right? And Washington's this balance of a legacy market while it's had price compression. We've had multiple market crashes. It's been pretty volatile. And so
Right.
tell me a little bit about, you know, what does a minimum order look like in Washington? I know people know that it's a COD by law state, but walk
I
us
think
through what
that
that
actually
even looks
changed.
like.
Well, the minimum orders usually anywhere in my experience range from anywhere from 1,000 to some people have $5,000 minimum orders. Although very rare, it's out there.
Yeah,
So it really just depends on
crazy.
yeah, right. Which I mean that's a lot, but I mean you got to think if you're selling $20 eighths, 5K really isn't that much.
Yeah, because the product's more expensive, the wholesale price.
Right, 100%.
Yeah, but that's still, shoot. I don't know the last time I ever talked to a dispensary here in California or in Washington during our brief journey with that product launch. For us, there for 5K was on the table for the first one,
Right.
unless
Well,
it was multi location, which is definitely a way to work with that.
you mean like first time orders?
Yeah, I mean it just doesn't work like that down here unless you're a huge
Oh
ass
man, that's
brand.
crazy. Yeah, some first time orders are like 20K, bro. Like it depending on if they have multiple stores or not. And it
Yeah,
yeah, it gets up there, bro. There's a lot of sales out there. You just really gotta fight for it. Learn how to adapt and move with the volatile industry.
yeah, absolutely. So okay, so you've got these 8 different brands that you've created. Walk us through the product category for these, if you wouldn't mind.
Uh so I'll start with Trap House. Trap House was my flagship, my baby. Actually, no, my flagship was the healing component. It's no longer on shelves right this second. It's very hard to source really good indoor flower. Um, but Trap House Connection is more of a THCA focused brand. So we have like the THCA Moon Rocks, THCA batters, THCA
Yep.
batter joints, melted THCA carts and pins. And that's my flavored brand. So you're going to find flavors like mango mimosa, red velvet cake, sugar plum, things like that, right? I also have a kind of a sister brand to that brand that has all the same product SKUs, but it's all strain specific, right? Because strain specific, a lot of people, when it comes to flavored versus strain specific, they think they are different, should be in different price categories. I
Hmm.
disagree. I think it's very demographic based, right? Flavors are more of a some people love flavors. It's not as big as the people that love strain specific though.
Yeah. We have a question. Is 502 or hemp? Is this rec? Is this rec weed or are you talking hemp
Yeah,
product?
502.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
thought. But
No, no, no. Yeah, yeah.
just for the sake of the YouTube question, might as figured I'd throw the slide
No,
that in.
no, no. It's all good. Yeah,
Just the
THCA.
question being asked made me think like, wait, am I hearing it wrong?
No, no, no. I get it because THCA is a very popular term in the
Correct.
hemp industry, right?
Yeah,
Because they have
now it
whole
is, but there was always THCA diamonds and other products like that before that.
right, right. I mean, there's whole THCA stores down
The
back in
real question should
Pensacola
be:
where I'm
is that
from.
cannabis or is it Delta? Is it hemp D9?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
it's
the real
100% cannabis, real cannabis derived,
yeah.
Delta 9 cannabis derived. Like,
Out of your out of that brands, because that's one of the first, that's one of the like the initial like one or two babies, right? Like that's your first one or two, Trap House and the healing component, right? Like, So out of the Trap House Connection line of products, what is your favorite two items within that wheelhouse?
I'd say the joints and the batters, because that's just mostly just due to my smoking style. I don't
So
smoke
that's
a lot of
cured
things.
resin batters, correct?
It's not actually not cured. Well, I guess you could say it's cured resin, but we mechanically separate the THC from the cured resin and then
Oh,
use
okay.
that, mix it back with HTE and flavor so we can
Ooh.
get a batter out of it. So
Wow.
I basically I took what I knew about how what dabs are made of, fats, lipids, THCA, all of that, broke it down and reintroduced it so I can control the consistency of the product.
And I remember being you said something there that caught my attention. Some people probably hate the idea of this. Some people are obviously attracted to this. I mean, we talk about spray packs, and now I know that there's flavored dabs. And
Right.
so, are these batters HTE, THCA diamond, THCA diamonds, right? And like Maui mango or raspberry ice or whatever it is.
So yes,
Oh, sick! That's cool.
so we put botanical flavors into the trap house batters.
Okay.
We use just HTE for the cartello, so people have an
Yeah.
option whether they want a flavor dab or they want a strain specific.
Of course, of course. I think that's pretty cool. At that
But there's
point,
no
like,
price difference in the two at retail level or wholesale level, right? There's no
yeah,
price difference. They're both very competitive pricing, and I think that's really the way the industry should go because it's not a just because you use a lot of people shun botanical flavors because it's not pure, it's not this, it's
yeah,
not
they
that,
always
right?
want to be pure cannabis, this pure cannabis that, but those people aren't the ones that we're talking to. These products aren't for them, just period.
Right, and and so you and everything has a price, bro.
That's a pretty cool. That's a pretty cool creative way to create a strain specific with the flavor match pairing. You know what I mean? Like, I love.
Mhm.
I think that's pretty. I think that's pretty cool. Um, the so you have the batters. And you're talking for you personally, your favorite ones. Are they going to be the flavored ones or the regular ones for your favorite?
I have my favorites in both. I mean, really, I do have my
What would you
favorites
say
in both.
that? Let's peel back that one. What does that look like for you? What would you say your favorite one of each would be?
So
I'm
for the
pulling up
trap,
on you, bro. And what are you
no, no.
pulling out? You feel me?
So like Trap House has 27 flavors and Cartello has 15 flavors consistently.
Wow. Okay, so you're the trap house
And
flavor
we're still
connection.
adding, bro. We still add. We just keep adding stuff, more brands, more products. Like we're a brand house essentially. And I've been able to do that. Excuse me. I've been able to do that because I have learned how to do graphic design, right? So I'm
Yeah,
able to pump out brand after brand after brand on my own at this point.
that's super cool.
Um, so it's going back to favorites. Trap House definitely mango mimosa all day. I'm a sucker for mango. It tastes like a mango high chew. Absolutely delicious.
Damn.
Sugar plum has been one of my more recent favorites. I dropped that one around Christmas time.
Yeah.
We are going to keep it. It's not just, I know it sounds like a Christmas flavor. That's why I dropped it around there, but we're keeping that in regular rotation for all the people that
Wow.
absolutely love that flavor because it's going, I mean, that thing goes, bro.
That's crazy.
Um, and then Cartello, I would definitely say the Wagyu breath, just because it is so funky and gassy. The snow
That's the
monster.
strain specific THCA diamonds and the
Yep,
HTE, right?
yep. That's the
So
Cartello breath.
that's just regular dabs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
High
But
potency
they're still
THCA
THCA
paired with.
batters because we're able to still break it down and put it back together, right? So it's
So
still
are
consistently.
you like a chef in the kitchen with the THCA as one strain and then the HTE is another one to make it like a we'll call it a fuller spectrum cannabinoid profile versus just peanut butter breath. OG
We
Kush.
generally keep it the same strain specific,
Okay.
just so it has those regular traits.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
still I mean, that's for the purists, right?
Right, right, right.
For the
I mean, it's
purists.
different
I love that.
demographics, bro. Like I mean, you know how it is. You've
Yeah,
been
no,
around for
I'm
a
with
long
her. I
time.
mean, I think it's great because dabs are only so much of the market, and you've been able to extend your dab reach right up into the vape category. Someone
Right.
who's buying live resin or someone who's buying flavored vapes, that's the perfect time for them to explore what it's like to try a mango madness, a mango OG madness, and it's mango kush with the Maui, your mango terps.
Right. And we actually are going to be getting into some of that where you have like very prominent strain specific terpenes that are enhanced by botanical flavors. Because we are going to be doing a live resin brand and a hash rosin brand this year, pretty
You're
soon
gonna
actually.
do the same thing, curate hash by itself, just like the diamonds and the HTE, and do that thing over there, and then also do a flavored version of it as well.
See, I don't know about doing flavored hash. I don't think I just don't think there's a big enough demographic for that
Which
yet.
I don't know that it exists yet. Can I just play devil's advocate?
100%. I
I don't
don't
want to
think
get. I don't
so.
want you to go down a $500,000 product development black
Nah,
hole
bro.
here. But
Yeah, I
I
don't
would
think it's there yet
say
either,
that
bro.
I've never seen. I've heard a company talk about doing it, and I've tried what they did with it, and their hardware still made it tasted like burnt popcorn, which is not.
Uh,
But that's not
Hardware
reflective
is
of
everything,
that's not
bro.
reflective of the terpenes though, and it's not reflective
Right,
of like whatever. That was the hardware mistake. And so for me, I've never seen flavored rosin with something, an HTE botanical blend around it, right?
right.
I think there was like a donut back in the day that people did in Washington that was kind of like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We are
Like,
definitely getting into
the ring, and then like sitting in the HTE, right?
yeah.
And then like, or the rosin snake rather, and then like obviously like, putting that in a cart, right? I mean, obviously we definitely see half gram and full gram. Maybe botanical carts, maybe botanical rosin improves the second half of the rosin gram.
Well, I think the best starting point would be mixing some flavors with live resin.
Of course.
I think there is a demographic for that because live resin has gotten so cheap, right?
Yeah.
And most of the people that are buying botanical flavors are the more affordable customers, budget conscious customers. Yeah.
Yeah, you should. I mean, not to say we would do like a 60-40 blend, but when I definitely work with a company that we had a distillate that had a lot of residual terpenes. We had that blended with HTE, or not just HTE, but decarbed full live resin, sugar crystals, and all that melted and decarbed. And that was potent. You get an 87, 88% fucking HTE, THCA meets fucking, distillates. That's a fucking 7%, 12% or fucking terps. Anywhere between
Right.
that is smacking. And then anything between 88% THC and 95 is a hitter. Like that's
100%.
just a fact. So there's not really much difference in that 7% difference range that I just mentioned. But I definitely feel like what you're talking about, there is a huge opportunity there to be first and to build it out. And if the flavors in your creation hit, right? Like shit, bro. Sprite's now Sprite lime, Sprite fucking cherry, Sprite this, trop
Right.
that. Like, hit me with the tropical cherry, HTE,
And
and
I think a
throw
lot of
some
us,
lemon lime terps on that bitch,
right,
like,
bro. And I think a lot of us in this industry, myself included, back in the day, like we get caught up in so much of being a purist that we forget that the cannabis market's evolving.
yeah,
And we want to stick to
innovate.
the roots of cannabis so bad, but we're going to get left behind if we don't innovate and change as long as it's safe, right? There was, because those big things with vitamin E and, cutting agents and stuff in carts back in the day, like that's not safe. That's not okay,
No.
right? But there's safe ways to implement uh, botanical terps into your product.
Yep.
Um, And yeah, you gotta innovate, bro. I mean, that's why we've diversified and added so many different brands and products. And I mean, the sales speak for themselves.
Let them know. Let them know. Okay, let's get into some of these questions that I actually had created. Shout out to our unofficial sponsor, ChatGPT, on today's episode to help me do better interviews. You know what I'm saying? We've talked about some of the journey. We've talked a little bit about some of the things and the product lines and all that. You know, you, your personal journey is unique. Florida, family, sales, bud tender, security, buyer. You're proof that you wear all the hats, and to this day, you're still wearing all the hats. When there's been an obstacle, you've learned it yourself and overcome it, and so that is incredible, and I rock with that.
Appreciate that,
Now,
homie.
in terms of the some of the influences in like building these businesses and some of the inspirations behind it, I know one of these brands is pretty heavy music focused. Can you elaborate on that particular project just a little bit from like a brand and creativity standpoint? You don't have to, we don't have to dive into the THCA and
Yeah.
all the things in
So
that. But
the heavy music focused brand would be Trees and Truths, right? And that brand is named after hip hop artist Mick Jenkins' album, right? One of
yep,
his first albums was Trees and Truths. And so I created that brand because I've always been a huge fan of Mick Jenkins. He's always been my favorite hip hop artist. And I actually got the chance to meet him and ask for his blessing to, use the name. Me and my brother, we ended up pulling up at one of his concerts and getting access to the green room and, talking to him and seeing if he'd partner on this brand with us. And he did. And
wow.
so we ended up rocking with him on that for a while. And yeah, man, that's been a journey. Indoor flower is tough if you don't
Yeah,
have a
you were saying that that was one of the and we were sourcing indoor flower for our project as well, and it's tough. Washington, tough market, but it's tough all over the place, right? For a lot of these projects
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it is real tough, man, to source indoor because I think, the people that have the best are obviously gonna take it to retail, right?
Yeah.
Um and not do much wholesale and price to sell it to somebody, business to business, farm to farm. It's not much money in that anymore.
Yep. How
Um,
important too is work ethic and consistency to you and your brand achieving the sales, success, growth?
Work ethic is everything, bro. That's how I live my life. I mean, work ethic is what is drilled into my head. I can't stop working. And it's been hard, bro. It's been hard to find that family balance, man. I got 3 kids and a wife, right? And you know, but I have finally kind of found that balance, and it works really good. But work ethic is everything, man. Down to my crew, bro. My crew is nothing but straight up hardcore workers. None of them even smoke. They
Mhm.
just come to work, knock shit out, and get it out the door, and it's amazing. And I won't settle for less than that. But I also don't really chase people. I've hired tons of salespeople, bro, and like I'll hook them up with some samples, be like, hey, if you want to come on and start selling for me and do this and that, let's go. But I'm not going to hold your hand because I know what I did to get here, right? Like I know I was driving 7 days a week going to, store to store to store. You know how it is, bro. You're on the road nonstop and you know what it takes. I don't have time to chase people to be like, hey, are you doing your job?
100%,
Like
100%. There's got to be that accountability with their own work ethic and their
it's a
own.
hunger, bro, and it's in you. It's not on you. It's a hunger.
I want to talk a little bit about the challenges of operating your brand there. Obviously, work ethic, consistency, huge. Showing up, participating, building brand, all these different things go into building a brand and building a business,
Right.
right? Let's talk about the Washington State market specifically. You've been in it for a number of years now. What's the number? Where are we
I'd
at?
say
What are we at now?
6, 7.
Yeah,
Well, since 2017,
so that's
so
eight.
8. Yeah. Dang, it's been a long time, bro.
So
Time.
8 years, just like me out there. I'm 2016 now, so not wow, fucking nine. That's crazy. Um,
Dang.
what would you say are some of the challenges that you've had to overcome in the Washington market? Let's break it down first when it comes to just the licensing process. You becoming a licensed weed business. What were some of the challenges there for you?
Finding the right partner. Because I've had a few different partners that I tried to do this with. Uh, and it just didn't work out for numbers of reasons, right? But I think that was the biggest part. This wouldn't be possible without my partners. and they're husband and wife. But without them, just like without me, this wouldn't be possible for them. Without them, it wouldn't be possible for me.
Yep.
Right. And it's like we all have our own wheelhouse because, my partner's wife runs all of our packaging. She does a kick-ass job. Uh, and then my other partner, he does, all the errands, money shit, all of that. Right. And like, we just have our own wheelhouses and we work so well together that we're able to succeed. And
Hmm.
they're not ego driven people. And I think that's the most common thread I find in this industry is ego, bro, because everybody wants to be first. Everybody wants to be the best. This weed industry is so highly competitive, but kind of in a toxic way.
Yeah. It's, we're all happy to be here doing this. It has its own unique struggles, and people are definitely clawing to be first and try to get on
Right.
these shelves or keep their client or just get paid in some of these markets, right? It's
Oh, don't even start me on that, bro.
it's been tough. It's been tough. So no, let's touch on that briefly. I mean, this is the second challenge. Like, another challenge is getting the product on the shelf. You talk about work ethic, consistency, product fit, right? Designing brands to solve problems. Like, okay, we talked through that. That applies to this section of it. We're just getting on shelves in Washington. That's a challenge
Right.
everywhere. It's unique. Everyone's got to figure it out. He already gave you the game in the previous stuff. But let's jump forward to this part, the getting paid part, the business relationship with the buyer and selling off the shelves, because it's this umbrella of selling it to them, building with the bud tenders, selling it out, getting paid, and having it happen all over again. And that's its own thing. Can you
Right.
help people become more aware of the process for doing that successfully in Washington State?
Of like, uh, rephrase that because I'm not really understanding.
So what are some of the challenges with selling to the stores and getting paid, for example, or
Got you.
some of the obstacles in those areas, and then also to selling out at the stores? Like, what do you do to sell off of the shelf as well?
I mean, that one's easy. Selling off of the shelf, like, you just have to have the right price points. You have to have the right packaging. I say it's easy, but it's actually not. But you have to have and you have to be willing to take constructive criticism. If someone tells you, I mean, sure, if one person tells you your packaging sucks, don't just change it, right? But if you have multiple people and your sales are slow, like, yeah, switch up the packaging, keep it fresh, do a revamp. Selling out, I mean, vendor days, and brand ambassadorship and all of that does help. But honestly, we haven't really needed it in the past 2 years to grow, and we're up 40% year over year. So, I mean, really, I feel like the market's split into two, right? You have people who have prices that are really good prices, and then you have people who are selling the high end stuff. And the people that have the really good prices, they don't have to do as much marketing and branding, right? I
Yeah,
mean, most people who are buying a $30 ounce of flour, like, they're not coming in worried about the brand, or they're worried about the THC percentage and if it smokes halfway okay, right?
right.
Um, and so the other side of it is like you have the bigger brands, which they do have to spend the money on the brand ambassador, the Instagram content, the vendor days, the parties, all of that, which is a huge, a huge chunk of overhead, right? That
Yeah,
takes a lot of money to do, but that's why they're able to sell at these prices, right? But then you have a lot of these farms that are like, well, I think I can sell at those prices because they are, and it's like, do you have the marketing budget to do it?
yeah.
And that's really what it is. Like, if you want to be one of those brands that's selling at $60 an eighth like cookies, like, you have to have the marketing budget. If you don't, you have to have a good price and a good branding and something that sets you apart.
I keep
um,
hearing this thing: good brand, good product, good price. Like all like these key things over and over, and that's something that you really focus on in doing that. And so I feel like
well, this market has kind of evolved into a can I get the most margin
yeah,
market, right? And so you have to be price conscious, because if you're not offering a retailer a 3.5, 4x, they're gonna get it from somebody else.
yeah. They those retailers, they're really love to put a 4x markup on things compared to these other states. It's pretty
I mean,
wild.
there's some out there doing 5, bro. I mean, it's crazy.
That's wild. Um, what's your take on the various? We were just talking about pricing challenges right there: 5x, 4x, product fit, market fit, price compression, oversaturation. These are all things that are formulated by that. How do you overcome that? You got 8 different brands. How did you overcome those things with each of these 8 brands?
Um,
Because right now you're shooting to put up points with each brand every SKU, and you're hitting. Some of these brands got 26 flavors and 15 on another. So that's a lot of guesswork, but also you had to have been like, boom, we got it. Like you knew what you was doing, right? So
right.
walk
I
me through
mean,
some of that.
so I mean, like I said, I already had that base knowledge, but like I just did a ton of R&D, bro, and it was just testing, flavor after flavor after flavor, and testing every single product that before I take it even to my crew. I have to be confident this product is good and that it's going to work at scale. So
Yeah,
I have to do extensive testing and then take it to my crew, because keep in mind, nobody there smokes.
yeah.
So nobody else can do the R&D or the testing, right? I have to do
Yeah,
it all.
if you need help with that, I'd
Oh,
love.
please, bro. It's not as trust me, it's not as glorious
Oh,
as it
I know.
sounds.
It's so fun. That's more so to be funny because you're actually the only person doing that, which is like it is rare. It's cool, but it's rare. And
Right. I mean, and obviously I have some people that, I'll smoke with and get their opinions and everything, because my opinion is not the end all be all, right?
of course,
There's some flavors that, I'm not the biggest fan of on Trap House, but I haven't taken it away because it's one of our best sellers. So I'm like, how can I say that's a bad flavor when everybody's buying it?
one
You know
hundred
what I mean?
percent,
So
one
it's
hundred
it's
percent,
all
100%.
subjective.
Come on, man. Think about how many people love guacamole and avocado, and I
Uh,
don't like,
I
and I
do want to
don't
get
like
into
it.
some. I do want to get into some crazy custom flavors though. Like I'd love to
Hey,
do like a
we'll get
whole
we'll
little
get to
baby
that. We'll
line
get
or
we'll get
something.
to that. I got a fun section for that. All right, we'll get to the fun Papa Shot, Fire, Rapid Fire. Right now, we got to explore some of these other brands. So walk me through the rest of your lineup. We talked about.
Okay, so we talked about Trap House, Trees and Truths. Another one, probably our highest volume moving products, would be Just Cannabis Company. It's a very no BS, no frills cannabis brand. It's very price conscious. It's not super flashy packaging. It's just for those. It's very focused on the blue collar demographic, right? Because that was the main demographic that I learned when I was doing buying and bud tending. Um, and so that demographic in itself, like they just want to come to the store, get their weed, smoke it at the end of the night, go home, wake back up early, do their construction job, and then come back to the shop and keep doing that routine, right? I wanted to give them something that was easy, easy to digest. They didn't feel bad about spending the money on it. And, it's good product. Like I strive to put good product out at very competitive prices. So that one we do a lot of, we also do melted diamonds with that brand. We do
Is that
BHO with
a
that
vape
brand.
product or is that a dab?
Vapes, pins and
Nice,
carts.
nice.
And those are our cheapest ones too. I mean, they retail for the pins. They retail for like 20, 20, sometimes lower. And then the carts, they retail for like 15 to 18.
Wow.
And both of those are postless hardware. We don't use any hardware at our facility that has a post or cotton or metal or any of that, right? We use all postless technology at this point, down to the carts. And I believe we're the only people in Washington right now doing postless carts. Um, so
Can I ask why you feel that the postless and forgive me for my ignorance as well, but for us and the viewers, why do you feel that postless sets your brand so much farther apart than with the other options?
they hit better, they're cleaner, there's less failures, there's no cotton, you have no chance of burning your cart and then not being able to save it. And really, just from our side of things, there's less failures, which is better.
Oh,
And they're,
yeah.
cheaper because there's less components. Like, there's not a bunch of metal or cotton or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, it's actually cheaper. Um, So, postless hardware is really, I think, where the future of hardware is going to go. You got to
Yeah.
think like Yocan has been out for a long time. Puffco has been out for a long time. That's the postless technology, right? So it's only natural that the disposable vape market is going to follow that trend as well.
Okay. So Just Cannabis has a variety of things. What are some of the other brands?
Medusa Gardens, we do RSO, which that was my partner's flagship even before I was in the picture. Like that was his flagship product was RSO. Great anecdotal evidence RSO, like a lot of good testimonials on it. It's very clean, and we're the cheapest RSO. I say we're one of the cheapest RSOs in the state, right? I mean, very, very affordable. You can find our RSO mostly anywhere for $12 to $15 a gram.
Wow.
And they're, yeah, I mean, it's just we do that. We do infused joints under that, like just regular infused flower joint packs. We have outdoor flower under the Boom City Cannabis brand. I mean, we have everything, bro. Like I have,
I mean, even that just right there, that many SKUs across even just these four or so brands you've talked about. That's such a strong variety already right there.
but see, the thing is, Joe, is like none of it competes with itself.
Mm-hmm.
None of it. They all have different. Each brand has its own like specialty. Like Trap House and Cartello have THCA. They're THCA focused. Trees and Truths is bubble hash focused. Um, Just Cannabis is cured resin focused, right? So there's different spots for all of them, and they're different prices. So I'm able to go to these stores and be like, look, I can give you a ton of variety to offer to your customers, and you don't even have to spend what you would with all these other farms, right?
Yeah, a bunch of minimum orders with a bunch of different people
Right.
leaves you with product that doesn't sell as fast.
And then not to mention, like you have the people that are intaking the orders. I mean, they have to intake 8 different orders, or there's just a lot that goes to it. And these buyers, like everybody wants to complain about buyers aren't responsive and this and that. I was a buyer. That shit's tough, bro. And if you're doing buying and general managing and fucking
Which a
bookkeeping,
lot of the shops are. That's exactly right.
100%. Like, there's no wonder they don't have a time in the day to talk to 200 people that are calling them every week. You know what I mean? So you have really, this market isn't as much like when you get to those higher levels, like we were talking about, it is about marketing to the consumers. But when you're at the lower price points, it's more about marketing to the buyers.
Yeah, because then you're filling slots and staying relevant and trying to be really good at something and being valuable
Right.
to them over
And
time.
we offer a lot of those niche SKUs like Keef and THCA isolate powder. Like we all know those don't move like crazy. They're not super high volume products, but we offer them because a lot of these companies that are offering, that's the only thing they offer. And it's like, well, you have to spend $1,200 on Keef. Nobody wants to do that. They'd rather buy 15 units, right? That's going to
Yeah.
last them a month. So yeah, we just really are staying focused on adding.
Ooh, man, Blake, you're giving them the game today, folks. You
Maybe a
spitting
little too
some
much.
game today, man. Hey, let's take a moment to shout out your guys' company, man. Trap House Connection, all these different brands, Medusa, Garden, Trees and Truth. And this is phenomenal, man. And I applaud you for the creativity and the hustle. And thank you again for sharing all these wonderful stories. Now it is our time to dive into some of the fun and creative questions. So, are
Nice.
you ready?
Yeah.
Try not to go too far into each of these, but
Okay.
if you must, let's do it. If Trap House Connection was a song from any artist, what would it be?
Um, that one's hard, bro.
Okay, we'll skip to this. If you were gonna do, what was the song that made you pick Mick Jenkins?
Drink More Water
Oh,
on the Trees and Truth album.
that's an amazing song. That was my first introduction to Mick as well.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love
Yeah,
it.
and I was about to say probably the answer to the first question would be 2004 by Mick Jenkins. That one has like been my anthem. And like my motivation right there, I'm just low
Okay.
as fuck what you want, nigga. Like, oh, he's fire, bro.
I love that. That's hilarious. Okay. So if you guys could collaborate with any non-music artist, because you've already got Mick, right? If you could collaborate with like a celebrity or a movie star or an athlete or anything in that world, who would that be and why?
That's a great question. I actually really love that question. I don't know the answer, but I love it. That's
Because
hard,
Mick, you
man.
already got your dream, right? You
Because I
already
already
said Mick
know
on
how
there.
many other artists that I would love to fucking work with. You know what I mean? But I've never thought like celebrities. Uh, it'd have to be some sort of movie. Oh, Mahershala Ali. He's dope, bro.
Oh yeah, that's a great
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
He
I
would
like
he'd
him.
come out with a fly ass brand too.
Yeah,
Y'all
for
know.
sure, for sure.
That's sick. That's sick. Now, okay, what's you know, we were talking a little bit about purists. We were talking about the flavors. We talked about some of your favorite ones between these product lineups. What's your favorite strain all time? What's the one that
GMO, 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 all day. That funk. Give me that dank.
damn, I never heard nobody say
But
this
look,
before.
I'll tell you, it has to be a certain cut of GMO from the homie Mike Forrest at Forest Farms. He has the best GMO in Washington State, hands down. Fire.
Okay,
And
so obviously this episode is dedicated to you, right? But you're a former buyer.
right.
You consume other brands?
Not as much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just so cheap for me to get my own shit, you
Are
know.
you comfortable speaking on what people in Washington consider to be some of the best brands?
I mean, yeah, I mean,
What
yeah.
what do the people say out there?
I
Are
mean,
some of the
obviously, you
like, if
got,
someone
you
comes
know,
to Washington, you're like, yeah, man, you should try this. You feel me? Like
I mean, most people are going to talk about Plaid Jacket, Microbar. You know, there's a lot of those guys. They're doing great work. You know what I mean? They're doing great work being involved in the community. And
Plaid Jacket is flour, and I think I saw dabs and vapes from them.
yeah, I think they do live resins, a lot of live resin SKUs. I think they do
Their
some cured
flour
resin
was
SKUs as
cool. Their
well. I'm
flour
not
was
sure.
cool.
Um,
And then what was the other one? When you said Microbar, they're a vape company. They're in a couple states now.
right. They're a vape company. Who else? Sub X, man. Sub X.
Oh, they're back, huh?
Well, I've seen them been posting a lot lately with new strains and things. I've been wanting to try it, but it's just so hard for me to want to go into a store and pay, money for weed these days. It's like
Yeah,
it's so
yeah.
abundant.
Don't worry, I'll go back and investigate myself. I will gladly take on that responsibility.
But yeah, no, man. I'll tell you what. Like Sub X has been my favorite flower company, though. To be honest, for the longest time. At one point, I literally was buying when I used to be a buyer, and I would get their orders and stuff. I'd literally buy one of every single flavor every single time. Oh,
That's
they got
hilarious.
something new. Let me get that so I can
I
smoke it.
used to buy a lot of their orange poison. I think it was
Yeah. Orange
some
Poison,
of
that
those
one was
strains back in
good.
the day.
Their Larry Bubba was good. Man, they've had some good ones. The Jagu, the Mango.
Oh, I would have loved to have tried some of their Jagu. That's
Yeah, that
crazy.
Jagu was nice, bro. It was super purple.
Was it
I
like
tell you what, one
pomegranate
of my
purple?
favorite. Go ahead.
You remember that Jagu? If it was like that pomegranate deep rich purple?
Yeah, no, it was like black almost.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
and it was dope because the packaging was Rasta colors, so it just went really well together. I don't know, I just love the whole thing. But I'll tell you, one of the best flavors, best strains I've ever had out here was when I first moved out here, and first time I ever tried Scored was their sour tangy.
Yeah,
This was
that
back when they
was
had
an
the white
incredible one
lid
back in the day.
packaging, huh?
Back in 2018, 2019, Sour
Yeah.
Tangy was the shit.
Oh man, that sour tangy was like just straight like orange salt. It was amazing.
Now, you're definitely a product development kind of guy. You definitely get, sorry, there's a bug trying to get me over here. Um you've created a lot of products. You've got a bunch of different brands. What's the craziest thing you've made or tried, or what's like the craziest flavor you've put together or something?
Well, I'll tell you this. I had a store. I'm not gonna tell you which one. They requested. They requested that I made multicolored moon rocks Because you know we do the THCA moon rocks with the white powder, right? And you know they're coated in the white powder. She wanted me to color it different colors, and so I did, and I made a bunch of little tiny pebbles of moon rocks and put it all in a jar as multicolored and called them fruit rocks, like fruity pebbles. Fire, bro. They sold really good over there, but like I never marketed them to other people because I know that's a very volatile product. Like some people are gonna be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" You know, because it's like, I mean, it looks like Skittles, bro. It's crazy, but it's you know, she wanted it. She got it. Like that's the thing, bro. We can make shit on the fly and sell it.
That
Um,
is that is hilarious.
yeah, it was crazy, but I was gonna say something about that.
Fruit rocks. THCA diamonds coated in colored.
Oh, and the reason I did it though, right? Because I always have to like ensure. Some people say, "Oh, that's not safe. It's food dye. You're smoking food dye." Sure, okay, I get it. That isn't that safe, right? But I looked up how much food dye is put into hemp wraps, how much food dye is put into cigarettes, and I followed those guidelines, right?
Wow.
So I know that I'm not putting over. Actually, I was putting way less than you would find in like a hemp blunt wrap.
Yeah, like a
Or
grape blunt wrap.
right. So like the more like there's a ton of like if you put a hemp cone in water, you'll see all the dye come out. You know what I mean? So it's
Wow.
like people are already smoking dye. That's the moon rocks are no different. Honestly, the moon rocks that I made were less dye. But it was just a very shocking thing to see because it was like they're bright, bro. I have to show you a picture afterward. It was crazy.
That's crazy. I love that. Now, what has been your because you are designing a lot of the packaging and things like that. What would you say is your favorite packaging design of all time for your brands?
I'd definitely say Trap House. And I can't take all the credit for Trap House, right? Because my cousin is the one that taught me how to do graphic design, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was originally doing all of my branding, all of my graphic design for Trap House and everything. And then it got to the point where he couldn't do it anymore. And so he taught me how to do it. And so everything since then, like all the new flavors, all the new product lines and everything through Trap House, I've been able to do myself.
Sick.
Um, and so, yeah, Trap House, not only is it my favorite because the way that it looks and the aesthetic and it's, you know, more towards my roots, um, it also has some, you know, sentimental value because I got to do it with my cousin.
Yeah. I love that, man. Shout out that resource and that inspiration there and showing love, man. That I'm all for things like that. All right, now we got one last question for. Actually, no, we're gonna do two. These are both really good ones. All right, are you ready? No, three. There's three good. Oh fuck, there's four. We're gonna do all four. Fasting. What's your guilty pleasure snack for when you're high? And two part to that. What's gonna be like if you were gonna make an edible? What would it be? Guilty snack. What's your future edible potentially?
Honey buns. Fucking love a
Ooh,
honey bun,
I
bro. But
love
it's got
honey
to be
buns.
the little Debbie ones. It can't be no fucking jumbo. Them shit's nasty. But I don't eat them like that anymore either, bro. Like I've been, you know, trying to get right.
I'm with you on the little Devies though, man. Them oatmeal cream pies is gas, and the peanut butter ones that snap.
Yeah, when you high, it just hits different, bro. You
Uh,
know. As far as edible though, and I'll put this out there for anybody that wants it, because a this is a golden idea, and I would love to do it someday, but I'm sure somebody's gonna do it before me. If I had to put out an edible, it would be bong. And I don't know if you know what that is, but it's spelled BHAA. I mean, it's BHANG.
yeah, I'm familiar with that. I don't know
Yeah,
what it
yes.
is.
So it's the only form of legal cannabis in India, and it's drinking during the Holi festival, and it's made by putting fresh frozen flour in a mortar and pestle with heated milk, cream, and blending that together. And because the milk or the cream has such a high fat content, when you're grinding those,
Yeah,
there's just a
it's
lot of
separating.
bioavailability, right? And so I used to actually make this way back in the day, and this is how enthralled I was into cannabis because, like, I was making, you know, fucking BHO and RSO and edibles and bang, you know what I mean? Like I was doing all of that. So I would love to create a drinkable edible. I mean, a drinkable that simulates that, but you can't use dairy in Washington, right? You can't use milk or cream. But the way around that is I think you could probably use hemp milk, right? Because it's a nut milk, but hemp milk's high in fat. And so you could combine that and then you could make this drink called bong and call it bong water.
Oh, let's
And make the
go.
packaging like some real Indian influence to pay homage to India, right? Because this
Yeah.
is their drink. And then, that's a fire product. I
Let's
actually pitched it to the
go.
guys over at it's an Indian owned operation, Kush Kush.
Yeah. I know those.
I
I
would
know
love to see them do that.
That's amazing. What a genius idea, and also too, just totally reflective of just the creativity and your passion for the culture, right? So big shout out to Guilty Pleasure Snack, and also to your wonderful idea. Now this is a really interesting one. If you weren't in weed doing this right now, what would you be doing?
What?
What would you be doing if you weren't in weed?
Oh man, getting money. I don't know. I don't know what else
Getting
I'd
money.
do, but I know I'd make a way. I got kids to feed, bro.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I like that he said just getting it. Okay, if
Yeah.
you were gonna do a cool ass weed event, your dream event, what is it? Where is it? Who's a part of it?
Well, obviously Mick Jenkins will be a part of that. And I'd want to do some event with a cannabis chef and just bring like small plates hors d'oeuvres around and just have a big smoke out chill set. I've never really been a big party guy, bro.
Yeah.
I like to chill, smoke, like the vibe to be nice. Like I think that'd be dope. Actually, I wanted to do an event with Mick for the brands as well and bring out a local cannabis chef, Unica. I don't know if you know her.
Mm.
Unica, she is a great cannabis chef. I all the time see her food and it looks amazing, but she's like southern inspired cannabis chef. So like she'll do like infused fried chicken and infused red velvet cake and sweet potato pie. It's crazy, bro. So like
Yeah, need
if I
that.
had an
Let's
event,
go.
hitting her up all day.
Let's go. I love the combination of obviously infused food and the
Bro,
southern
food and
element.
cannabis and music, that's like the legendary trio right there.
Okay, so this is a good one, bro. If Trap House Connection was a movie, what role would you play and what's the movie? Like,
I don't
where's this?
know.
Where's it set?
That's a hard one, bro.
Come
I'll
on,
skip it.
man. Like, who,
What?
all right, is it like set in LA? Is it set in Seattle? Are you in Florida? Like, are
Yeah.
y'all trapping? Is it just Trap House? Is 2 Chainz there? You know what I mean? Like, is Mick pulling up? What's the movie, bro?
Yeah, I
Or
don't
is your
know,
life
man.
the movie? You know what I'm
Yeah, it'd
saying?
probably just be if it was a movie, it'd just be a movie about what I'm doing, maybe. I don't know, like, but there ain't nothing exciting, man. I'm
You
a
better
family
you better
man,
think
and
on that. You better think on that for your documentary.
right, right. I
Okay,
wonder who
last
would play
question.
me,
What's one
bro.
thing people might be surprised to learn about you, bro? Last question on this fun
Get DJ
creative
Khaled to
topic.
play me.
That's hilarious. That's fucking funny. Okay, what's something people that would be surprised to know about you or to learn about you?
Hmm. That
This is a tough
I hate
one.
working.
Stumped.
As much as I work, that I hate working. That much rather just be um with my family, bro. That's literally the reason for my existence. That's the reason I'm here.
Yeah,
Like
love that.
I mean, honestly, like I couldn't do it without them. My wife holds it down here at the house, and like it allows me to get all this stuff that we need to get done, and we're a kick-ass team, and like I'm ready for it to all pay off. And I know I'm young. I still got time. I'm patient. You know what I mean? I have to
Yeah,
be. But I can't wait for the day where it all pays off and I get to buy my time back.
yeah. I feel that. Big respect to that, and an inspiring message as well for those people watching. A lot of free game has been
It's
given
not all
to.
about the hustle. The hustle is a tool, bro. That's all it is. The money is a
Yep.
tool. Like that's it.
It's a tool to get us to get to the point where we can do what we want to do and when we want to do it
Right.
with who we want to do that with. I love
Yeah.
that. What do you want to leave the people with today? What is what's the final update for the rest of the year for Trap House Connection, this new company that you're a part of, this family of brands, all these things?
Um. I come from humble beginnings, and I'm a true testament to uh, you can really do it if you put your mind to it. Like you can make things happen if you just show the consistency. And I know some days are probably like really fucking hard because they are for everybody. But as long as you get back up and you keep fighting, like you can make it, bro. Like I've had to start this business over from scratch and reinvent everything. And I failed so many times doing this, but through the losses, as long as you stay strong, you trust in God, and you keep that work ethic, like you'll excel.
Yeah. Great
100%.
advice. Amazing advice. And thank you again for your perspectives and sharing your experience and your story here today, brother. It's been a wonderful conversation.
Yeah,
And
no, I appreciate it, bro. Thanks for inviting me on for sure.
no, of course, bro, of course. And for those of you guys watching, this is my guy's first official podcast episode with RMR, and I believe overall
Thank
as
y'all
well.
for having
So
me.
we love to have our homies on. We love to give a platform to these small businesses and these brands. You're a young, hustling, dedicated entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you're out there licensed cannabis operator, you're running the show, you got a team, you're doing R&D, doing sales, you got the support staff, you've had failed partnerships. It's not all easy. You've seen a lot of it. Played all the roles, had to be the coach, be the coordinator, run the ball, throw. You've had to catch your own passes, your
Right.
own Hail Marys, right? As you said, resetting and having to revisit and rebuild the engine. What a really inspiring conversation today, guys. Episode 133, folks, of the RMR podcast. This is Blake Benton, CEO and founder of the Trap House Connection and a variety of other brands in their wheelhouse. Blake, where can people reach out and get a hold of you if they'd like to support, place an order, get to know, order something, buy something? Where can they connect with you guys at?
Instagram. Hit us up on Instagram, traphouseconnection.wa. We also have cartello_wa. We have Instagram pages for all the brands, so hit me up on any of those. I got access to them. I'd love to chat.
Let's get it, man. Thank you guys all for watching. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, talk that shit about us, but show love to them and the rest of our guests. We will see you guys on the next episode. We'll see you next time.